Greetings, Benjamin J. the Victrola Guy, with another in the series. I'm suffering from terminal sinus infection, so if I sound strange, disregard it. I'm trying to. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our experiments on the 1878 tinfoil phonograph. And I've made some adjustments to the stylus, to the setting for the stylus holder, and I've also added adhesive rubber pads to the corners of the machine. So you notice it's absolutely rigid now, which really seems to help in recording, because the machine always had a tendency to wobble and you had to hold it. It's designed with holes for mounting it down to a base. But in this case, I just got some adhesive silicone rubber tabs and just stuck them to the bottom of all four corners, and that really made this machine solid. And it's like it's screwed to the desk. I'm using an old toothbrush and cleaning out the grooves of any residual glue that accumulates. Fortunately, the glue I'm using to hold this tinfoil on here, or this aluminum foil on here, doesn't actually stick to the mandrel, but it sticks really well to aluminum foil. So I'm just using a Elmer's School glue stick. It's non-toxic, it's really inexpensive, and it really works. So it's just a purple glue stick. When it dries it turns clear, but it's never on there long enough to do that. So I'm using heavy-duty aluminum foil, and I've cut it into strips that are 2 1/8 inch wide. And then I've laid it on a glass table and burnished it. I've pressed it from inside out to get as many wrinkles out of it as possible. And I'm using it shiny side up, so I'm putting the glue on the dull side. So a bit of glue on the dull side of the foil, stick it to the mandrel, and fortunately it's sticking right to the lands rather than the grooves. So it's just sticking across the top of all the grooves. And let's see if it goes on straight. One word of caution: if you're wearing a ring, now this is a little off center, so we just unwind it and move this over just a hair. There we go. And then wind it back on. If you're wearing a ring, make sure your ring doesn't touch the foil. It'll leave a long groove and it'll cause a dropout in the recording. Okay, nice and snug on the mandrel. We raise up the end piece where it overlaps. Just one little bead of glue and glue it down. Now usually I trim this, so there's only a 1/2 inch overlap, but I didn't feel like doing it right now, so I didn't. So we fold the edges over, and then you just roll these edges around the mandrel. And as you do this, that really binds the foil to the mandrel. It gets really snug, it gets really tight. And just do that on both sides. And there we go. So we've got a really nice smooth surface to record on. And in the course of the few experiments I've done, few being a relative term, I've now recorded probably 600 times on this machine, yelling "Mary Had a Little Lamb." I'm going to be actually doing demonstrations with this, so that's what I'm really concentrating on recording, because basically that's what I'm going to be doing the demonstration of, is "Mary Had a Little Lamb." So I've noticed that I get a pretty clear, crisp recording using a small horn to record with, and then using a larger horn, in this case a 10-inch horn, to play the recording back. So I'm going to be recording with the 7-inch horn and playing it back with a 10-inch. So we're going to rewind the machine to its starting point, close the diaphragm holder with the stylus, see where our first groove is. Alright, the machine is ready to record. I'm going to be recording, of course, "Mary Had a Little Lamb," using the 7-inch recording horn, and I'll be playing it back through a 10-inch fiberboard horn. Excuse me. As I said, this cold is killing me. Alright, here we go. And I don't have to hold the machine down. It doesn't move at all with these little silicone tabs for feet. All right, here we go.
Hello, hello, hello. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Ha, ha, ha.
All right, so we rewind our mandrel to the starting point. And I'm doing just a complete series of tests at different depths for this stylus to see what the effect is. One effect I've noticed is the deeper you cut it, the noisier it gets. And it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference in the volume of the recording, how deep you cut it. I think it's just simply getting good modulation, which translates to a good recording with some volume. Okay, so here's the recording we made playing this back through a 10-inch horn. Alright, well, a decent recording. Still not perfect. I think this machine is capable of doing better than this. The only way to tell, of course, is to continue my experiments. And I'm going to be adjusting the size of the tip on this needle stylus I made to see if that makes a difference. Right now I've got it adjusted so when it's indenting the foil, it's virtually filling the groove edge to edge. So if I give it some more room, it may make a louder recording. There's really no way to tell other than doing a continuing series of experiments with the size of the stylus and the depth of the cut. The only constant I have, of course, is the foil itself. This is just plain 1 mil heavy-duty aluminum foil, 1/1000th of an inch thick. And it seems to be making fairly decent recordings. But I've looked online. I'm ordering copper foil, lead foil, and brass foil. And most of those foils are used in stained glass windows. Different foils may make a completely different recording. There's only one way to find out, and that's to do it. I'm thinking lead foil, might make a really, really excellent recording, but I won't know until I get some. In any case, just wanted to do a quick video on the new stylus, the adjustment, and using the two horns. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, TheVictrolaGuy@gmail.com. This is really a lot of fun, and I've made, like I said, hundreds of recordings on this machine now, with varying degrees of success. It's making usable recordings. It's loud enough that anyone standing in this room could hear exactly what you're saying. But again, I'm trying to get this to work absolutely the optimum it can. I want to make the loudest, clearest recording possible on tinfoil. Whether I'm going to be able to do that, whether I've reached the point of what the machine's capable of, I really doubt that. I think it can be improved, and probably improved greatly. It's just a matter of doing it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, TheVictrolaGuy@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.